Look at that. Okay, so playlist number 7, if you're following along, it's the first song is Rita Jones Deeper, and we'll get started at the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press your buttons. Okay. So let's start on our backs today. Relax a little bit. And as you settle in, you can keep your knees bent here. And just start to inch your feet out a little bit so that the position itself, this constructive rest position, becomes more comfortable. And you notice if you go too far, it starts to fit on the outsides. If you're too in, it just doesn't feel grounded, but there's that sweet spot that everything works. Let's get those arms nice and wide here, take up a little space. And let's take a nice big inhale. And just release it, exhaling through the mouth or nose, feeling the back side of the body set a little deeper into the floor. And we'll do that a few times. Now, as you start to settle in here, just notice the spots that are holding. And we tend to hold a lot of facial expressions, so you can release through the forehead, release through the eyes, the temples, the jawline, especially the jawline in this day and age. You may want to even take your hands to this space between your upper and lower jaw and give yourself a little extra love of a massage. And then let that go. Notice if there's any holding spots in your arms, your chest, your belly, your legs, your hips. Let's start to move our legs. We'll drop the knees over to one side and look over the opposite shoulder. And inhale, we'll lift the knees back up. And exhale them over to the second side. Inhale it. First side. And up and second side. We'll do that 2 more times on your own breath. And notice as you're moving around that rocking sensation through your hips, through your low back. So one more set, just in case I didn't make that clear. So one more time to each side. And then we'll come up and we'll drop ourselves down onto that first side, and we'll stay here for a moment or 2. And here you want to see if you can feel your back knee coming in and around the arch of your bottom foot. And if that feels okay, if that's not too much, and you don't have to force it down, just let it relax. If you start to notice there's tension or, some sensation in the back side of the leg, you can move a little bit more. Body's not ready to settle yet, and that's fine. But if you are ready to settle and you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can take your opposite arm and reach it over the head and lengthen the knee and the wrist away from each other. You can also take the bottom foot, you were right, Cindy, and bring it on top of that top thigh or top knee. And here we reach. And we reach, and then as we exhale, we soften so we don't put too much pressure in that shoulder and neck. And if you want, you can also turn your head over to the left so you get a nice stretch through the right side of the neck. Beautiful. As we come out of this, we're going to just slide our arms back into a T position. We'll release that top knee. And we'll do a little windshield wipering as we move over to the second side. Here again, you can take that position and just stay here, or you can move into something that's going to offer you a little bit more sensation if you need more sensation. And stay with your breath here. Notice the body lengthens, ebbs and flows, not just through the effort of your physical body, but also through the breath. Excellent. And then we'll release that top leg, slide the T and hands back into a T, and give yourself a little. I hope you did the neck on that side. If you didn't, you can do it now. Just turn the chin over. All right, let's take those arms overhead and stretch the legs straight in front of us. And we're going to start to arc over towards the left here. A little half moon position to the left. Notice if your right hip is starting to move up, and see if you can plant it back down. We're going to start to walk our feet over towards the left too, coming into like a crescent moon here. And the whole right side of the body still relaxing on the mat, even though it feels as if it wants to be pulled up. If it's too deep, you can't get the body back down to the floor. If you want a little extra stretch through that right side, take that right foot and cross it on top of the left foot, and then press out through that heel. And that should take you to a big stretch through that right side. Excellent. All right, so let's release that. We'll walk ourselves back through center, or at least, reshuffle ourselves back through center. Before we move to the second side, just take a moment in a T position. Notice the length through that right side. And then we'll just start to make our way to the second side, inching down to the shoulders first, lengthening. Left shoulder staying on the mat, left forearm trying to stay on the mat too. Once that's in place, you can start to walk the legs over as well. And you can stay just like this, or you can press out through that left heel, cross it over the right knee. Keep breathing. Take 2 more breaths here. And then once again, we'll come back through center. And just take a moment in your T position just to make sure that all is well and you're feeling perfect. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay, knees to the chest now. Now let's just start to do a little in and out of the knees. So we'll reach those knees away. On the inhale, fill up the belly. And then as if we are squeezing a bellow, we squeeze the knees and the air out on the exhale. Inhale, stretch long. And exhale, squeeze it out. One more. Beautiful. And then let's take those legs up and just start to do a little rocking, either up and down the spine a little bit. Or if that doesn't work for you, you can just do a little rolling around the sacrum. We're going to eventually find our way up to a seated position. We're going to cross our legs and sit up nice and tall. And I want you to lean yourself forward. Feel the hips coming towards the thighs. And then I want you to start to lean yourself back, lifting the thighs, the hip bones off the thighs. Beautiful. Let's take those arms out to the side. I'm going to take that right thumb and turn it down. We're going to bend the elbow and bring that hand behind us, pressing the right forearm into the back. And already that should feel a nice stretch to that deltoid here. And then as we look over our left shoulder, you can stretch that collarbone a little bit more to the right. Keep pressing that forearm into the back. Keep sitting up nice and tall here. If you want, feel free to take that hand and start to slide it up the side of the neck and give yourself a little massage, which always feels nice. And you can follow that line down, watch the jugular. You don't have to squeeze too hard. If you start to feel lightheaded, I think you've gone too far. But you can go all the way up to the back of the ear here. And again, in this time of jaw clenching, we've all become such jaw clenchers. Here, just notice there's tension and you can give it a massage. You can also open and close your mouth. Get into the jaw a little bit more. Beautiful. We're going to take our head back to center. We'll release our right arm. Take it all the way forward now and across the body. And take that left arm underneath and just pull it back, dropping that shoulder down. And you can look over your right shoulder now. Here, if you want to nod, if that feels good. Great. Beautiful. We're going to come back through center, bring the palms together, hands to the forehead. Lift those elbows up high. And then as we exhale, draw those elbows in towards the belly button, rounding through the back here. Feel the collar or the shoulder blades roll off the spine. Inhale up again. And back down. Do that 3 more times. Beautiful. On this next one, as we lift back up, let's stretch the arms up. And then one more for the wrist. So bring those hands down, turning the palms together. So let's see how we can do that. So palms together, backs of the hands together, spin palms together. That's it. Bend the elbows, reach them around. Wrist stretch and back. Yeah. It's a heavy one, especially if you do a lot of work with a hoe. Or a spade, I guess. And again, if you notice it's a lot, then don't go so far. You know, you're not looking to hurt yourself, you're looking to find a little stretch, a little sensation. Beautiful. And then let's release that. Take a moment, let's just cross our legs in the opposite. Sitting up nice and tall again. Noticing if the hips are a little too forward and leaning them back, so we're sitting up a little taller and really connecting down through the sit bones and that tailbone. And notice also the tailbone shouldn't be tucked under. We want it rooting down to the floor. We're going to take those arms out to the side. We're going to take that left thumb, spin it down, and then bend the elbow, bring it back behind you, and then press the forearm into the back into the forearm. Slide your right hand now across the front of the chest and lengthening that collarbones, getting even a massage into that. I believe that could be your pectoral muscle. Sorry, it's not your deltoid. Deltoid's on top. Pec muscle, and then looking over that right shoulder now, sitting up tall. Keep breathing, and you can stay here, or simply slide the hand up the side of the neck and start to give yourself a little massage. Feel free to move the head around a little bit here. Keep pressing the forearm into the back so you know you're sitting up tall. You can also use your forearm kind of drawing it down towards the floor to keep that sacrum nice and perpendicular to the floor. Take another 3 breaths here. You can never do too much massage for the neck and the jaw, especially in this day and age. You can open and close your jaw here as well. Beautiful. All right. And then we're going to spin our head back through center. We're going to release that left arm, cross it in front of the body, and slide that right arm underneath. As we draw that arm across the body, stretching now the deltoid muscle. Top one. Here you can look over your left shoulder and give yourself a nod. Try to keep that shoulder down so the shoulders feel level. One more breath. We're going to turn our head back to center and wrap the palms together. Hands to the forehead as we start to lift up the elbows. Try to draw the sides of the ribs back to the wall behind you as the heart lifts up. So it's really very much an upper back bend, and then exhale, rounding in, elbows coming to the belly button, and rolling the shoulders off the back. A few like that. We'll do two more. Beautiful. And then as we come back up, we're going to release. Actually, do we have to release hands? Yeah, we do. So we're just going to spin and then spin the palms together. I'm going to take that left arm and reach it through, stretch the left wrist a little bit. Through. Again. Excellent. And then we'll release the hands, release the legs, and let's come onto our hands and knees as we do a little bit of work through cat-cow and some core strengthening exercises. So if you want to sit, I'm going to use a blanket underneath my knees. You can place a knee pad under there, whatever makes most sense to you. As we find ourselves with our shoulders on top of our wrists and our knees directly underneath our hips. Let's curl the toes under to begin. And notice that the ankles are kind of splaying out and hug them back in, but keep the pinky, the baby toe also curled under here. And we'll just start with a little cat and cow. Press down, rounding the back of the neck, forward and down, tailbone down. And as the hands and knees draw towards each other, we're going to roll the belly down as the shoulders and hips come towards each other. Excellent. Let's start to roll back and forth a few times. All right, let's come up into cat pose. And then keeping those toes curled under, round yourself back, bringing your hips to your heels and stretching out through those toes. And then we're going to cow tilt forward. So the heart's going to start to drop down, the belly's dropping down, and we'll come forward through a cow position. Beautiful. Round up and down again. A few more times through cat and cow. Maybe this time switching the breath. So if you were inhaling to cat before, exhale to cat, or vice versa. And then let's come into our cow position. And we'll start to again slink back, bring our hips towards our heels. Pressing the fingers forward, stretching to the toes, letting the back of the ears lengthen forward. And then we'll round up through cat pose. Back into a tabletop position. Beautiful. From here, let's take that right leg and we're going to slide it back behind us so that the sole of the foot is reaching towards the back wall and a little bit back towards the floor, but more so towards the back wall. So there's a difference between this stretch, which is really about ankle, and this stretch, which gets a little bit more into the leg as well, and also a really great stretch through the toes. Let's stretch out those toes a little bit. All right, we're going to start to press into the hands and the opposite knee as we lift that right leg up. And here we hold. So notice if that, actually let's play with it. Let's take that right hip, spin the hip out to the right. And then using the inner thigh of that right leg, lifting up, spin that hip to look back down to the floor. Okay, 2 more like that, spin it up. And spin it down. And last time, up and down. Now we know it's down, we're going to start to reach as we press into the right hand, and we can take that left arm and reach it forward. And let's just hold for a minute, lengthening the body, pulling the sides of the ribs in, feeling all the wobbles, and just feeling the inner arm, inner thigh hug to your midline. Hold. We're going to exhale, elbow and knee come towards each other, fade, and again, mind the wobbles, they're fun. Press into the fingers of that right hand more. Try to come out of the wrist. 2. And last time, 3. Stretch the arm and leg back out. We're going to take that right arm down, keep the leg out. Kickstand the leg behind us, the left leg. Let's take that right arm up and into half moon pose. Beautiful. Let's take the right arm, right leg, drop it down towards the floor, right arm over the head, foot towards the mat, side stretch. Similar to that pose we were in, that half moon pose at the beginning. And then lift the arm and leg back up. 2. And up. And last time. Down and up. Beautiful. Now we'll bend that right knee. See if you can grab hold of it. And if you can hold it, draw that heel in towards the bum, get a good quad stretch, reach the knee away. And then we're going to press the foot into the hand, get a shoulder stretch as we lift that heart up towards the ceiling and let the ears draw back. Hold for 3 breaths. Excellent. Let's start to release the hand and the leg nice and slow. Reach them up and over your head. We're going to swim that hand back down towards the floor. Take that right foot back down towards the floor. Press into the foot. We're going to take that left knee down, nose to knee, hug it in. Hold, round the upper back, roll maybe a little forward. And then we're going to stretch that leg back and come into plank pose. Tap the knees down. Lower all the way down to the mat. And we're not staying here because I don't like having anything underneath my thighs as I come up into Cobra pose, but we can nicely come up into Sphinx for a moment just to get that upper back a little bit more stretch. Feel the collarbones widen here. Press into the feet, but press into the pelvis too. So press that pelvis down, lengthen the tailbone down towards those heels. Beautiful. Slide back down, slide the hands back, press hands and knees into the floor. We're back up. And look at that, we're back into tabletop position, where if you needed to a little bit of cat and cow, just to kind of rejig yourself, go ahead. We're going to take that left leg up and back behind us now. You can't see it all. So that left leg lifts up and back. We're going to spin that left hip open to the left. And then we're going to spin the inner thigh back up towards the sky. You'll notice here that as you spin the leg out, if you tuck the right buttocks under, it's easy to lift up that leg. And then down. And the same thing goes as we come into a half moon later. And then come back down. We know the hip is facing down now. Press into the left hand, soften the collarbones, and we'll take that right arm and reach it forward. And you can stay here, or you can start to move, elbow and knee coming towards each other, feeling all those wobbles. A few of these to do. Three. Did we do 3 or 5? 3. Okay, that's great. Then we're done that. We can take that right hand down, kickstand that right foot behind us. We'll take that left arm and lift it up towards the sky. Reach the heart out. We're going to tap the right foot or the left foot down and take that left arm, reach it over the head for a big side stretch like that half moon. And then we'll lift back up into position 1, 2, and up. Stay with your breath. Beautiful, and hold, lengthen. Notice if your forehead is lower than your chin, lift that forehead up and feel much less pressure in your neck. We're gonna bend that top knee, see if we can grab hold of it. Hug the heel in towards the bum for a quad stretch. Reach the knee away for one last breath in this position. And then we'll press the foot into the hand to get a shoulder stretch, lifting the heart up towards the sky. Beautiful. We start to release the hand and foot nice and slowly. We'll take that top arm over the head, bringing it back down towards the floor like we're doing front crawl. Tap that left foot down, press both hands into the floor, left foot into the floor, take that right knee to the nose, round in, hold. Beautiful. Make sure here that your heart is over your thumbs. We're going to stretch that right leg back, hold. And then press into both hands, sliding yourself up and back, downward facing dog. And here, let's just pedal out those heels. Beautiful. Let's start to walk our hands back towards the back of the mat. Bend your knees when you need to. Release the belly onto the thighs, let the head hang low. If you want to hold on and give your legs a hug here, you can. Start to feel, if you can, each exhale a little bit more of a drop, like a and notice where there's a hold. Is it between the shoulder blades? Is it in the ribs? Maybe bend the knees a little bit more if it's in the low back. We're going to start to release our hands, just press our hands into our feet for a second, warm up our feet, and also give them a little bit more of that feeling of rootedness. And then we're going to start to slide up, roll up, slide the hands up the legs, root down to the legs. Keep pressing down. Belly, and we're going to stretch those arms up over the head, palms together over the head. Exhale, hands to the heart. Beautiful. Heart up into the hands as you inhale. Keep the heart lifted. Release your hands. Inhale, or bringing your arms back up towards the sky. And we're going to fold forward or roll down forward, whatever makes more sense to you. You can roll down, you can flat back down. Do what feels best in the body. Come into a flat back. And use your hands here and press the hands into the shins to really feel the tailbone and the head lengthening as far away from each other as they can go comfortably. Feel the collarbones widen. And then as we exhale, hold back down. We're going to walk ourselves back into downward facing dog. I'm just going to take this knee pad out of the way for now, but keep it close just in case you need it for later. Here we are back again in downward dog. We're going to cat-tail forward, so round into the shoulders as you come forward. And we're coming into plank pose. We're going to press into the plank, press into both hands, press into the left leg, and we're going to see if we can lift our right leg up here. So similar to what we just did before, but I'm not going to ask you to lift up your left hand unless you want to, and then feel free. We're going to draw that right knee in towards the nose, round in. We're going to stretch that leg all the way up, and you can come up into three-legged dog here, dropping the left heel to the floor. And then let's take that foot all the way forward to the center of our mat, between the thumbs. We'll drop that left knee to the floor. We'll sweep ourselves up into a lunge. Beautiful. Let's take our right arm down towards the floor as we stretch that left arm over. Getting into that side today. Think of your heart reaching up towards the hand in the air. And also think of that underarm, that left underarm hollowing a little bit. Beautiful. We're going to sweep both arms back up. And as we come down, take one hand on each side of the leg, and let's just rock back and forth here. Back and forth a few times. And you can feel free to keep your hands on the floor. You can also, if you need them, use blocks for this. If you're feeling really good, we can start to use no hands, sweeping the arms up as we inhale, hips dropping forward, and then exhale, swinging back, taking those arms back behind you. And forward and back. Last time. This time as we come back down, or I guess we'll come back here, and then just kind of drop the hands to the floor. Let's fold over that front leg. Notice as you look at your toes, does your big toe and baby toe line up on the same line? Your big toe shouldn't be closer to you than your baby. Feel the heel press down, feel the outer right hip reaching back behind you. As you breathe, let the collarbone soften and widen. Excellent. Now, walking your hands forward, we'll bend that front knee. Plant the hands, we'll step back. Plank pose. Let's come through this time. All the way down to the floor, we will add some cobras. Inch your hips back in space. Plant the feet, plant the pelvis. Take the arms wide and forward. We'll loop the shoulders as we roll up. And then pull the hands back as you roll back down. Let the head touch them. Inhale up. And down. Bring the hands a little closer. Go up a little higher. But only when you feel ready. We're going to slide our hands back this time right underneath our breasts. Press hands and knees into the floor as we lift up. We'll round ourselves back through child's pose. And then planting the hands to the floor, rounding through the upper body, slide yourself back into plank pose. Now again, as you press the floor away from you, melt the heart. Feel the side ribs lifting up. And then press a little bit more weight into your right foot as you take your left leg and lift it up and back behind you. Breathe. It's hard. So if you're saying, how do you do this? It's hard. It's like, yeah, it is. We're going to draw that knee and nose together, round in. Inhale, sweep that leg all the way up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. You can drop that right heel to the mat. Beautiful. Let's take that left foot forward between your thumbs. We'll drop that back knee to the mat. Inhale, sweep up into a lunge. And here we go. Left arm down, right arm reaches up and over. Heart reaches up towards the hand in the air. Right shoulder slightly back. Breathe. One more breath. On your inhale, we'll sweep that arm back up. Look up. And then we'll take both hands on either side of that front leg as we start to rock back and forth. And again, hands can be on the floor. They can be on blocks. Or if you want, if you're feeling good and you want to try without the arms or without the use of your arms, you swing them back and forth. Beautiful. Last one, we inhale, come up. And as we exhale, come down, we'll take the hands down. We'll press that left heel into the floor, reach the heart forward and fold over the leg. Feeling that outer left hip draw back, keeping those toes level. And breathe in, long back of the neck. Beautiful. Let's come back forward. Plant the hands, take that leg back. And making your way through a vinyasa. Beautiful. Downward facing dog. So we'll do one last little movement just to make our spring and our step a little bit more fun. Let's take that right foot now and just bring the top of the foot to the floor. And just start to lean, come forward into a plank. Spread your toes, and as you come back up into a downward dog, you're stretching the top of the foot. Be careful or be, gentle. Come back down again, and we'll go up and down 2 more times. Beautiful. Now we'll roll over onto the top of the foot, plant it down, and we'll take that left foot, top of the foot on the floor, come forward into a plank, and then stretch back. 2 more times. And then as you come back, we'll roll over, coming back. Downward facing dog, regular. And actually notice as you lift and drop and lift your heels, there does feel like there's a little bit more space. Then we're going to bend our knees, create a little momentum, and you'll notice as you spring forward, you've got a little bit better soft jump in your step. Lengthen into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Press down to the floor. Let's come all the way up. Arms overhead, palms together. Beautiful. Hands to your heart. Heart up into your hands as you inhale. Keep the heart lifted. Release your hands. Just take a moment. We're going to move into sun one now. So let's take those arms, lift them up over the head, palms together. Exhale, we're going to fold forward. Lengthen into a flat back. Hands to the floor. Walk or hop back into your plank pose. And then make your way through a vinyasa. Okay, thank you. I'm going to see if I can make my feet a little bit easier to see. All right. So right now we're in, there we go. We're in a downward facing dog. You can come up and down on your heels a few times. Just get them ready, get them a little springy. And we're going to look for it now. We're going to just start to, again, create a little bit more spring through the knees and the heels. And then we can make our way to the front. Again, the little hop, skip, and jump. Lengthen into a flat back and fold. Press down to the floor so we make our way all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do one more just like that. Sweep up, inhale. Exhale, we fold. Lengthen flat back. Hands to the floor. Make your way through a vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Okay, let's change our feet position. Bringing our feet out into like a duck position. Let's see if you can see it this way. Heels together, feet apart. Like Charlie Chaplin. And spread your toes here. It's just a different stretch through the calves. Maybe through the outsides of the legs. Beautiful, and then we'll come back forward. You can spin the heels back to a neutral position, and we'll make our way back to the front with a hop, skip, jump, lengthen, flat back. Inhale, exhale, fold. Press down to the floor, let's come all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Heart up into the hands for an inhale, and then release your hands, just taking a moment, palms facing out. In this moment, just to both receive some energy, notice what's going on in the body, but also to give. And notice when you kind of switch that, like when you think, do I have something to give here? It's like, yeah, I have something to give. You become more powerful. So, you know, sharing is actually not just for other people, but it's for you as well. We're gonna walk our feet together, we're gonna bend our knees, we're gonna sweep ourselves up to Uttanasana. Beautiful. Now press the palms together if you want, and feel here like this sheath wrapping the arms up, underarms super hollow. Pull the shins back, and then sink a little lower, feeling the tailbone and the fingers reaching away from one another. We'll hold for another breath or two. And then we're going to fold over those legs. Lengthen flat back. Make your way through a vinyasa. And you can always come down to the floor. You don't have to do your upward facing dog. We're going to take our right leg forward. We're going to spin our left heel towards the midline. And notice in this position, you want to have some space between your ankles. So yeah, you can walk that back foot out a little wider. Think about the size or the distance between your hips here, and then try to create that with your ankles. Because as we come up, keep that front knee bent. You can take your right arm around the back of the left hip and reach that left arm forward to anchor that left foot. And then as you come up, pull the legs towards each other a little bit to get a little bit more of a really nice sensation to that inner thigh. From here, you can take that right arm and release it and lift it up. Beautiful. 2 more breaths. Again, in this position, thinking of that same kind of hollowing through the underarms as you lift the palms up. Creating just a little bit of more ease through the neck and the shoulders. That's what we're trying to do here. And then we'll fold back down, plant the hands. And if you don't want to do a vinyasa, just slide yourself back into downward facing dog. But if you're feeling strong or feeling that you want to build up more strength in those arms, and this is the way to do it. We're going to take our left foot forward as we spin our right heel towards the midline. Left arm wraps around, right arm anchors the right foot. Keep that left knee bent as you come up. And then release that left arm, bringing the palms together. Beautiful. One more breath up here. And then we'll fold back down one last time through a vinyasa as we move on through a few more standing poses. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's right away move right back into warrior 1 per side. This time, since the hip already knows where to go, we don't need to bring that, that arm around back. And then we're going to open ourselves up. We'll come into warrior 2. So you can shift around your feet a little bit. Feel your front knee tracking the center of that front foot. Feel the back foot drawing back towards the midline. Both feet actually drawing back towards the midline. And we'll release those arms out. Now, I want you to start to play with the idea of slowly dropping those arms a little lower. And you'll notice all of a sudden the sensation at the top of the shoulder starts to move away, and you start to get a little bit more work or needed effort in the bottom of the arms. How excellent is that? So yes, we don't want to build up muscles here. We don't want to be like a, what are they called when muscle people? But we don't want to look like a bodybuilder, but we do want to start to build a little strength in the bottom of the arms there, because I know we do. Exactly. So notice you can actually start to move those arms around until you gain that insight into that spot, and then stay there for another 2 breaths. Let's drop the back hand as we come into or exalt this warrior. And then we'll exhale, come all the way forward, bringing that right elbow to the right thigh. You can always slide that hand down to the ankle or the floor. And with that left hand rooting that left heel down, lengthen the crown of the head up and away from that back foot. Once it's anchored, you want to take that left arm and reach it either up away from the right hand or up and away from that left foot. Go for it. Right buttocks is tucking under, and we're trying to get that left shoulder back on that magic wall. Beautiful. Inhale, we're going to press into that back leg to come all the way up. We're going to straighten that front leg as we come into a little reverse triangle pose. And since we did a half moon on the ground, let's do a half moon standing now. So look forward, you can use a block here. So I'll place a block about 6-10 inches kitty corner to my baby toe. I lean myself forward, put the weight into that hand and lift the back leg up. And here we go. So if your balance is not great, keep looking at the floor and imagine the whole body kind of lifting up and away from the floor. If your balance is okay, you can start to look up at that hand in the air. And here, if you want again, you can bend that top knee and grab hold of the foot coming into Ardha Chandrasana Shavasana. I just like staying in. Beautiful. Soften through that standing leg. Make sure it's not locked. Now we want to have a little space to play. And then we're going to release that front leg or top leg. We're going to bend that front knee. Slowly come back down through warrior two. Beautiful. And again, notice where your arms land. Okay, we're going to unplug that back leg as we come into a high lunge. And let's add a little twist here, taking that left elbow all the way over to that right knee. And here, if you want, you can drop that left knee to the mat or keep it up. Look down towards the floor, plant the hands, step back, and you have a choice between moving through a vinyasa or just shifting yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Do what makes the most sense to you, do what makes the most sense to your body. Beautiful, let's come into our second side. We take that left leg forward, spin the back heel, we're making our way up into warrior one to begin. Notice the right hip will follow forward because it's done it before. Exhale, we'll open up warrior two. Try here to notice where your hips are and try to keep both hips level with one another, straight spine, and then notice you can bend that front knee a little bit more. If your arms or wrists are higher than your shoulders, you're building up tension in the upper neck and upper shoulders. If you release a little lower, you take that out. Keep breathing and look over the front fingers. Drop the back hand as we make our way into a little exalted warrior. And then that elbow is going to come all the way down onto that front thigh, or it's going to come to the mat or the ankle. Use the right hand first to press the foot into the floor, feel that lengthening, and then you can lift the arm up or over your head. Can you feel that right shoulder leaning up against the wall, head on the wall? I know it's magic, it's never there, but it does feel like you can make it there. And then anchoring that back leg will come all the way back up. A little stretch. And then all the way forward and into your half moon pose. Bringing the hand to the floor onto your block, reaching that right foot up and away. And either looking down at the mat or lifting the head up a little bit, making it a little bit more challenging, making sure that the back of the left knee is soft. And here again, if you want, Shavasana, holding on to that foot and reaching that foot away. Keep breathing. Almost done the hard work. You release that leg, reaching the arm and leg out. And bend that front knee, slowly make our way back through warrior two. Unplug that back heel as you come forward into a lunge. And then that right elbow comes onto the outside of the left leg, coming into this twisted lunge. And you know here, if you're getting tired and you just want a little break, drop that knee. Excellent. Look down towards the floor, both hands to the floor. Step that left leg back. Downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to inhale, come forward. We're going to drop the knees to the mat. We're going to slide ourselves back into child pose. We're going to take our hands back behind us and hold on to our ankles. So today is Easter Monday, so it feels like a great day to do a little rabbit pose, and feel free to leave this out if you want. If it bothers the neck, if it bothers the head, then you can just stay in child's pose. But if all of these things don't bother you and you want to try your rabbit pose, we're just going to bring our forehead to the mat. We're going to curl our toes under and hold on to those feet again. Hold. Big grasp for the ankles here. And then we're going to just keep pressing the heels back as we come onto the top of the head. Feel the collarbones widen. Breathe. One more breath. And we're going to release that, sliding the hands back forward. And then let's just make our way up into a little dolphin pose. So bring the elbows underneath the shoulders in a right angle, palms together. We're going to walk our knees back a little further. And I'm going to press the forearms down into the floor and a little forward so that you feel that movement. Draw those shoulders back even farther. Keep pressing down and lift those hips up. And here, upward arms drawing back, heart starting to melt down towards the floor. Breathe. If you want here, you can start to walk those feet a little forward if that benefits you at all. Now I want you to think about the arms pressing down and forward a little bit more, so you'll feel that heart drawing back a little bit more towards the knees. And keep the collarbones wide here. You can move the head around, make sure it's comfy. Beautiful. We're going to inch our feet back. We're going to inhale, come forward into a forward plank pose. You can rest your hands on your head on your thumbs and just hold your plank. Hold, hold, hold. If you want to add to this, if you're feeling like you want to move into those obliques, tap the right hip down, lift up, tap the left hip down, up, left or right, left. And we might have time just kind of playing with the work of this pose, keeping the shoulders wide, collarbones wide. Beautiful. We're going to tap the knees to the floor now, tap the tops of the feet. Open up the palms, we're back into Sphinx pose. And press the forearms down into the floor, pull back. And here, just feel that heart reaching forward. Beautiful. We're going to slide that left arm forward, roll over onto our left side. And here we're just going to take that leg again, draw it in towards the bum. One last little quad stretch. Upside down dancer pose. Draw that elbow back behind you. See if you can take your whole hand and cover the whole top of that foot. And that's going to open up the front of the shoulder here a little bit. So you're going to feel the shoulder draw back into the shoulder girdle. If that feels nice and you start to feel a little sensation to the neck, as you look down, it's a nice neck stretch. Beautiful. All right, you can spin that head back. Let's take that knee into the chest. And here, if you want to hold on to the back of the leg, you can lift that foot up towards the sky. And slide that hand up the back of the leg, hold on to the foot. And notice you're gonna try, the body's gonna feel like it has to roll onto your back, so there's a good opportunity to use your core muscles to try to stack the top hip on top of the bottom. Beautiful, we're gonna do one last pose here. We're just gonna take that right foot, or top foot, we're gonna bring it in front of us, toes facing forward, so that way. Towards me, if you're looking at me, and then take your hand and you can take it onto the top of the thigh bone here and just press that thigh bone away. And you can give yourself a little wiggle. So you're creating a little space between your thigh bone and the hip socket, and then you're adding a little pelvic tilt here. Should feel quite nice. Beautiful. All right, so from here, we're gonna crawl ourselves up. Bend that back knee, and here we are getting ready to move ourselves into a twist. So if you feel that that right buttock is not rooted, so it's kind of up, then just take this bottom leg and bring it forward. But if you're rooted, and stay in this position, take your right hand behind you, take that left arm, reach up. We're going to spin ourselves open to the right, take that left elbow onto either the outside of the leg or wrap your arm around. Hand behind you is being used to sit you up taller. And again, make sure that both sit bones are rooted, tailbone is rooted, and you're spiraling around and upward as the collarbones go wide. Look over the back shoulder. And then you can look over the front shoulder. Beautiful. Little open twist for all the chocolate we probably eaten this weekend, or matzah, one of the two. One of the two clogs in the drain, like hair. Spin yourself open, and here you'll feel a great twist through the belly muscles. And see if you can twist, lengthen, and breathe deep into the belly so you feel like a massage through the diaphragm, but in through that colon. Beautiful. Bring your head back to center. We're just gonna release the legs and lie ourselves down on the second side. So now your left leg is on top. We're drawing that left knee into the chest if you were following along on the first side. If not, it's just the other leg. Heel first in towards the bum, get a stretch to the quad. And then spin the whole palm on top of the hand, and then you can press the foot into the hand and get a stretch to the shoulder. And you can also drop the chin down towards the floor, getting a stretch to the shoulder and the neck. I think I'm late, but that's okay. You'll stay with me, I'm sure. Almost done. Beautiful. All right, we're going to bring that knee down into the chest. You can hold on to the back of the leg here as you reach out to the bottom leg. You can stretch that leg straight. You can slide the hand up the leg, hold on to the foot. Sort of roll yourself so that you feel the top hip stacking the bottom hip. And then we're going to take that foot down in front of us, toes facing out. And then heel of the hand presses into the crease of the hip and thigh. Just kind of creating some space between the leg and the hip. And for me, this is such a nice feeling. And adding a little bit more movement, a little pelvic tilt here. Okay, and then we're gonna start to crawl ourselves up. So again, we want to get that left buttocks down on the floor. If it doesn't go, that bottom leg stretches out straight, that'll help it. The left hand helps prop you up taller. And take that right arm, reach it up. And then spin yourself around to take that elbow to the outside of the leg or wrapping your hand around the legs. And as we come into the pose, be mindful that we tend to just kind of find one good crank and think that that's a good twist. I want you to think about this lengthening up. Think about a piece of strand of DNA and all the space between the little strands, or like the little, whatever they are, chromosomes. Is that the little things in between? I'm not sure. And just start to spiral upwards, or you can think about a candy cane. Look over your back shoulder. Look over the front shoulder. Spin the back arm around, hold on to the front ankle. And here, as we lengthen upwards, again, we twist into the belly a little deeper. We come back to center. Let's bring the soles of our feet into down angle. Now, in this pose, what we usually do is pull the legs in, but what happens a lot of times is we round through our low back. I'm finding that if you press yourself in towards your heels, that keeps that low back nice and long. And then we press the soles of the feet together, reach the knees away, belly in, side body long. And then here, if you want, if it works for you, notice you shrink here, then keep that arm there and keep playing with trying to find a way to do this without your arms so you sit up nice and tall. You can move around in the shoulders here a little bit. If you're holding on to your feet, you do have a little stretch through the neck and shoulders that you can play with. And then we're going to fold forward, but we're going to spread our legs a little forward. We're going to feel ourselves lift up and out of our hips, so we're going to lengthen forward and fold. And then you can take your feet and open up the feet wide, pressing the heels away, lengthen the back of the neck. Fold. All right, let's come up. Keeping your feet in down angle if that feels okay. Did we stretch this one? Okay, good. Okay, so bring them back into down angle and just start to roll yourself down. Take those arms out to the side. Nice T position here. Let the knees start to feel as if they can release. If they don't feel like they can release, you can take your blocks and place them underneath your thighs for a second, just to allow them to feel supported. And just for a little traction through the back, if you want, you can hold on to bring your hands, hold on to the edge of the mat. Roll the shoulders under. Lift your chin up or press the back of the head into the mat a little bit. And then as you press into the soles of the feet, you can lift your hips off the mat. And here you can hold yourself in traction for a few breaths. Bring the hips back down. We're going to take your hands now and slide them underneath your hips. And if you like this, I know some of you don't, so feel free to leave this one out. But you can press into the forearms and just look behind you for a little bound angle fish pose. See if you can feel the shoulder blades lift up and over, lifting that heart up a little bit more. And then breathe into the back side of the body. Feel the front side of the body expand a little bit more. And then we'll slowly slide our heads back down to the mat. And use your hands to lift those knees back up and together. And then slide them forward, coming into just a pointed toe position. This one for the neck, I think everybody's gonna like. We're just gonna take our fingers and interlace them behind our neck, behind our head. And just have your thumbs pressing into the crease between the neck and the shoulders. Draw your elbows in towards the body, and then using your arm strength, not your head, bring your elbows forward and lengthen the back of the neck. Great. If you want here, start to spread your fingers a little wider, and that should get a nicer stretch to the neck. Elbows still coming in towards you, and notice if your head is trying to hold up, and let the head completely rest in the arms. If you want, you can draw the left elbow to the right a little bit. And then you can move in the second direction. You can do that again. You'll notice as you move a little bit from side to side, those thumbs also feel like acupressure in the, what for me is the knots at the base of my neck. Beautiful. When you're ready, you can roll that head back down and stretch those arms out. And here we are ready for Shavasana. If you want to put on your extra layers, bring your knees back to your chest, give them a hug. Roll yourself over and grab your clothes. And then as you find your way back onto the mat in your Shavasana pose, be mindful of all the work that you've just done to your body. And can you hear your body responding? Can you feel it completely surrender to the ground? And you notice that your breath feels more sensitized, or your body feels more sensitized by your breath. And if that's the case, or even if it's not the case, encourage more and more of this sensation of dropping, of surrendering the body down into the floor. Each exhale, an opportunity to create less space between you and the mat, and more space taken up on the mat. Once again, move through the body and notice if there's any spaces in the body that need to be let go of. And know that our facial expressions usually need a little coaxing to let go. So soften through the forehead, soften through the eyes. Soften through the jaw and the mouth and the lips.
Feel a spaciousness come over the fronts of the shoulders from collarbone to collarbone. So today's daily Om is called "The Sun is Always Shining." There are times when gloom or darkness causes us to momentarily lose sight of the light. Although it is at these times when the thought of the sun can help us. Its warm, glowing rays brighten even our thoughts, and it's good to remember that despite appearances, the sun is shining right now. We may not be able to see it at this very moment, but if clouds block our view, they are only filtering the sun's light temporarily. If darkness has fallen, we know that the sun is still shining at this very moment, somewhere not too far away, and it's only a matter of time before it will shine on us again. When we remember that the sun is still shining, we know that things are still in motion in the universe. Even if life feels like it is at a standstill, sometimes all we need to do is have faith and wait for the time when everything is in its perfect place. Or we can choose to follow the cues of the sun and continue doing our work and shining our light, even when we can't yet see results. In doing so, we exercise our patience, making sure we're prepared when opportunity knocks and all other elements are in their right and perfect places. The sun also reminds us that our own shining truth is never extinguished. Our light shines within us at all times, no matter what else occurs around us. Though the sun gives us daily proof of its existence, sometimes our belief in our own light requires more time. If we think back, however, we can find moments when it showed itself and trust that we will see it again. Like the sun, our light is the energy that connects us to the movements of the universe and the cycles of life, and is present at all times, whether we feel its glow or not. So you can begin to deepen your breath. As the energy starts to move through you and down through your arms and your legs, begin to wiggle them, encouraging more movement and more sensation, more animation as it rises from your fingers and toes up your legs and arms, all the way through. You can stretch and yawn and feel all those wonderful sensations you get at the end of practice, and you're reanimating yourself. When you're finished doing all the stretches your body wants, take a little time on your side. Taking a moment just to notice how you're feeling. And also notice the lovely, warm, and kind of relaxed and energy you have at the end of practice that makes you feel comfortable, relaxing, but also if you move inside, you know that it also gives you a lot of get up and go to move on to whatever's next in your day. When you're ready, we'll all meet at the front of our mats. Bring our hands to our hearts and part up into our hands. And let's create just a little space for the community we share our practice with today, so that as we offer our blessings of peace, we're including those of everyone we've shared this practice with, and here, taking a moment as we offer ourselves some thanks, we also offer each other some thanks for being there and creating an even deeper connection within us, within our universe. If that's not making, you know, if your heart isn't growing yet, just think of a few things that make your life oh so special. And notice how again you start to shine. From this space, we end our practice with the sound of one Om, or the vibration of one Om. Take a nice big inhale. And a great big exhale through the mouth. Inhaling to Om. And you can feel how that vibration connects you deeper in through your sits bones. The more connected, more grounded. And at this time, always a nice reminder that our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts, so we can physically remind ourselves by bringing our hands to our heads, scooping up our thoughts and bringing them right back where they belong. Namaste. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to be back.
Great to have you.
Take care.
See you
Have-
soon, everybody.
You too,
Bye.
Paula.